Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, whopping into the Garp Challenge WhiteBeard with some mono strength teams to help you guys take down the Chopper Man missions and get those juicy gems every single month before reset. So in this video today, I do have 4 teams for you guys to take down the WhiteBeard challenge. The first team is utilizing a double Kaido lead. So Kaido is our attack booster, he's our orb booster. If you can get his versatility popping, which you really want to do in these challenges, it makes life a lot easier. Next, we've got Eneru. Eneru is great for the Marco Vista stage. He can remove the paralysis, chain lock, and attack down. With the Dofi support as well, he can actually give our full team a 1.75 times orb boost, as we are running a full driven team. Next, we've got Fuji and Akainu. Their switch ability is amazing. They can give us a 1.5 times orb boost every single turn. Works great with like Bullet and Kaido, as they are both boosted under both Bullet and Kaido as well. Next, we've got Treble. Treble's 2 times attack booster to Driven, as well as removing defense up and damage reduction. The defense up damage reduction is the big reason he's here, though. Finally, we've got Stampede Buggy. Stampede Buggy can give us a full board of orbs, as our captain is Driven, but he also removes attack down by 5 turns, which makes him so good for this particular team. The ship we are using is the Victoria Pong to hopefully give us some more T&D orbs, get that Kaido versatility popping. That way we can just do a lot of end of turn damage. The next team we have is the Sweet Generals. They're a 5 times captain to strength. Their special gives a 2 times attack boost, as well as a 1.1 times chain multiplier and a 2 times color affinity to strength units, which is very, very good for their own team. Their super type also gives cooldowns as well, provided you do have one of the Big Mom Pirates on the team as well. The next sub we have is Oven. Oven's a great sub for Sweet 3. He's a orb boost over multiple turns, and because he does damage, he can actually use the Akainu support as well to give us a full board of orbs. Well, he gives us a full board of orbs anyway, but it can also give us a 1.5 times attack boost, which is very handy. The next unit we have is Perispero. Perispero is a 2 times orb boost, as well as removing defense up, damage reduction, and threshold. You can replace him with someone like Montador if you don't have this particular unit, but he does help out significantly for the Sweet Generals team. The next unit we have is Heracleson. Heracleson is an orb booster as well as removing paralysis, which is great for the Marco Vista stage. And then the final unit we have is Drake. Drake can remove attack down by 3 turns and do tap timing. The big reason he's here though is he has like a 9 turn cooldown, which means we can actually pop off his special twice. So that was the Sweet Generals team. It should work very, very well. Sweet Generals are actually quite good at especially hybriding them up for these Garp challenges. They work great with someone like Bullet or V3 Akainu. The next team we have is Oden. Now, Oden unfortunately suffers by getting matching orbs. He is a very, very good captain for strength, and he gives a very good orb buff, but he doesn't give any natural orbs. So we do want to be running the Victoria Punk and a friend Bullet to make sure that we can just maximize our natural orb rotation. We do have Marco on this team. He can remove chain lock as well as attack down, which is very, very good. We do have a Montador on this particular team. He can remove defense ups and damage reduction, but also gives color affinity to strength and psi, provided our strength and psi units is our captain, which when you are running Bullet, it helps out quite a lot, as color affinity is very, very good for Bullet teams. Next, we've got Dogstorm. Dogstorm can remove attack down and paralysis as well. He also gives us a little good shuffle of orbs, as well as that being able to use the Rhizo support to remove some paralysis as well. The final unit we have is Chopper. He can also remove paralysis, but he gives an attack buff as well as some matching orbs. And the big reason we do have Chopper here is because we can use the support of the Straw Hats to remove some more paralysis as well. That way on the second last stage, we don't have to worry about using a special there. The final team we're going to talk about is the double Snake Man team. Still arguably the best strength super typing in the game. 5 times captain to strength if you have a recovery or strength orb. Makes them easier to find. 2.5 times orb boost, 2 times attack boost. He's such a good unit. Plus we can also use the Rayleigh support for paralysis removal for this particular run. Works very, very well, as we do have the Sanji support as well to remove more paralysis on our Zoro. Now Zoro, he's pretty much replaceable on this team as long as you can just find a way to bring some more paralysis removal. He's just amazing for these challenges. I love bringing him just to do some wave clear and just do some extra damage. The next unit we have is Boa. Boa can remove attack down as well as special blind. She also does a bit of orb rotation and locking orbs. But the main reason she's here is for attack down. The next unit we have is Usohachi. He removes defense up and damage reduction and threshold. He also gives us some cooldowns and he delays, which is great. And the final unit we have is Ambush Garp. Now, Ambush Garp can blow away a unit if they're below 30% HP. If they are above 30%, he will set the defense to 0 and do a 25% HP cut. No, sorry, he does a 30% HP cut and he blows away units if they're below 25% or less. But the big reason we're using Garp is he can actually use the support of Kobe for 3 turns of attack down. So they're the teams that we're going to be taking into this event today. Some other noticeable captains are Luffy Sanji, works very, very well. And another notable sub that I haven't added to these teams is Vivi Rebecca to remove the defense up and damage reduction. They work very, very well. But the first team we're going to take on this event with is the double Kaido team. So let's hop in. Alright, so for the first challenge, we are using double Kaido. And on the very first turn, if you guys don't know, you do want to make sure you take down the color of the team that you are using. So for this particular team, we are going to take down the Strength Lackey. Now, on the second turn, we are going to use our Buggy Special, which is going to help out giving us a full board of orbs anyway. So don't worry if you have to use multiple orbs on this stage, but obviously running 2 Kaidos in the 5 times flat rate multiplier, it does make it very, very easy to kill units. On the next turn, we come up against the Watermelon Head guy. He's going to give us attack down, so we do want to use our Buggy Special on this particular turn to remove that. We're also going to get a full board of orbs as well, and then we can switch with our Fuji and a Kainu, and that way we can actually give ourselves an orb boost. Now, every time I use Kaido, I always like to use all of the orbs, just to try and maximize the amount of T&D and recovery orbs I can get on the natural roll on the next turn. You do want to try and start building up that verse meter as quickly as possible, and hopefully with a little bit of RNG, you can make that happen. So on the next turn, we come up against Higuma. I think I don't know, he's the guy with the chain and ball, and Atmos. On this particular turn, we do want to switch with our Fuji and a Kainu. That way we can get ourselves an orb boost. And then you don't have to kill the dude with the chain and ball on the next turn. But if you do, it can help out your run. But the idea that I like to do is I actually like to try and keep him alive. So that way I can sort of just farm up some T&D and recovery orbs. And then move on to the next stage after that. On the next stage, we come up against Fossa, Isu, and Speed Giru. Now, Fossa can be on a 4-turn cooldown. He could be on a 3, or he could be on a 2-turn cooldown, which is very annoying. So hopefully you guys manage to get him on quite a low cooldown. A high cooldown. And that way you can sort of guarantee yourself not dying, as he does a lot of extra damage. Unfortunately for us, we got very, very bad orb rotation, so we're not actually going to be able to kill Speed Giru here, but that's not the end of the world, because we did get the 4-turn cooldown for Fossa. On the second turn, we do want to try and make sure that we do take out Speed Giru as well as Isu, so we don't take any extra damage. And then depending on what your cooldown was for Fossa, you either want to kill him on this particular turn, or you do want to just take as much stalling as you possibly can. The idea on this particular stage is to make sure you guys can max out that Kaido verse meter. Hopefully, like me, you guys got the 4-turn cooldown. It makes life a lot easier, but obviously, if you do need to restart the run, there's also that option there for you as well. Alright, so we got very, very unlucky, and we didn't actually get any more T&D and recovery orbs, so we're actually not going to have the verse ability available for Kaido, which is actually going to be quite a significant issue. And we got no orbs. Wow. Okay. Sick. Thanks, game. Appreciate you. So what we're going to have to do on this particular turn against Kaido, against Jozu, is we are going to actually have to use the... actually, we're probably just going to have to pass a turn here, to be honest. Jozu doesn't do too much. He does, like, quite a bit of damage, but he really doesn't do all that much until, I think it's the 3rd turn where he does his big, like, blast. But because now we do get those 20% HP cut with Kaido, we can then use our our treble special to remove the defensive effects, and then we can actually use the switch ability of our Fuji and Akainu to give us a orb buff, and with that we can take out Jozu. Just try and farm up some orbs on that previous turn. That's probably the best recommendation I can give you guys if you guys did get a little bit shafted like I did, but obviously I did get lucky on the Fossa stage as well. On the next turn against Marco and Vista. Marco and Vista are going to give us 3 turns of attack down, chain lock, and paralysis. So this is where utilizing the special of our Eneru is very, very handy, as he can actually remove all those nasty defects, and with the support of Dofi can give us a 1.75 times orb boost, and then we can actually use our Kaido special to give us a 2.25 times attack boost for this particular team. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to focus our final shot with Iso, as he does have color affinity against Marco. And then what we can actually do is just take them all out here. Make sure you do hit your 3 perfects, so that way you can get the carryover of the orbs onto the next stage. On the final stage against against Ace and WhiteBeard. Man, I'm all over the shop this afternoon. Sorry so much. I apologize, guys. What you want to do on this particular stage here is we do get the carryover of the orbs. Then we can actually use the special of Kaido to give us an attack boost. Because we've already got our orbs set in motion in terms of our orb buff, we can then switch with Fuji and Akainu. And if you need to, you can use the special of Buggy to give yourself some more orbs. If you want to as well, you can use the Fuji and Akainu special just to get a little bit extra base stats. But as you guys will see, just with double verse Kaido, like, you really don't need that much extra help. You just want to make sure you have a full board of orbs, so just use the Buggy special if you really need to. Alright, so for the next team, we are going to be using a Sweet Generals and Bullet hybrid team. Now, the downside to Sweet Generals, very similar to Oden, is they do struggle to get matching orbs, just naturally on their rotation. Plus, because this content, you do need to be using a lot of specials, getting some damage output, especially when you have type disadvantage, can be a bit of an issue as we are running a mono strength team. So bringing someone like Bullet for the strength teams just helps out so much. So on stage 2, we are going to come up against the Watermelon Head guy, and we're going to be using our X-Drake special here to remove the attack down. On the very first turn, try and attack with characters that are in the same sort of rotation, or like adjacent to X-Drake, is that way you can actually get the orbs back fairly easily. And as you can see, Bullet can do like a butt ton of damage as he is super effective against all types. On the next stage against Higuma, the Chain Ball guy, and Atmos, we still have the carryover effect of the tap timing, but we get special blinded on this particular stage. Now, ideally, you just want to try and kill Higuma and Atmos. That way you can actually take a turn on the Chain Ball guy here. And that way we can actually try and get rid of our special blind. As when we do move into the next stage against Speed, Giro, Isu, and Fossa, Fossa can be on a 2-turn cooldown, or he could be up to a 4-turn cooldown. Now, I did get very lucky, and he's on a 4-turn cooldown for me. So that's going to make my life a little bit easier, as I'm actually not going to take any, I'm still going to take some damage, possibly. But it means I'm going to take a lot less damage from Speed Guru here, so I can actually focus in on the first turn, and hopefully take him out with Bullet, as Bullet is super effective against all types. On the next turn, we can just use our normal attacks and take out Isu. And because we are using Liberal Hind, whatever cooldowns you do get on Fossa, do try and use up, as we do want to maximize as much healing as we possibly can per turn. Once you do get down to 1 cooldown on Fossa, you do want to start moving on. And that's as Fossa will just do a heap of damage if you don't take him out. On to the next stage now, we come up against, what's his name? Jozu. So against Jozu, he has 3 turns of the defensive effects damage reduction and defense up. So this is where we can use the special of Perispera to remove those. And then we can actually use our Bullet special to give ourselves that end of turn damage. We also do get an orb buff as well with Perispera. But if you are using Montador, you can get the color affinity buff, which is just as good when it comes to Bullet. If not better if you are missing an orb. On to the next stage now, we come up against Marco and Vista. Against Marco and Vista, they give us 3 turns of Paralysis, Attack Down, and Chain Lock, which is very annoying to get around. So that's why using the Enaru is amazing. But for this particular team, we're going to be using our X-Drake special once again. And then we can actually use our Heraclean special. Now, with both of those specials, we do remove all the defects besides the Chain Lock, which is not the end of the world, as we can actually take an extra turn on this Marco and Vista stage, as we have managed to salvage quite a lot of HP. We do get a 2-turn orb boost with our Heraclean. Unfortunately for us, the tap timing really doesn't mean all that much, as we do have normal attacks only moving on from the Jozu stage. So we can easily take out Marco and Vista after 2 turns, and then move into the final stage against Ace and WhiteBeard. Now against Ace and WhiteBeard, they are going to slot bind our top and bottom row, which we can remove with Limit Break. And then they're going to blow away all of our positive buffs. They also have end of turn damage as well. So what we want to do here is we do want to use our Sweet General specials first to get the attack boost and the chain boost. And then we can use our Oven special to remove all of our orbs, give us a full bot orbs and an orb boost. And with that, we're just going to have no issues taking out Akainu just came in, sorry. Ace and WhiteBeard. Now, once you do get to Ace and WhiteBeard on this final stage, they do remove color affinity, which normally can be a good thing for strength units. But because we are using Bullet, we do lose that super effective against all types. But as you can see, just bringing a friend Bullet with the Sweet Generals does help out significantly when you are doing these runs. So the next team is the Oden and Bullet team. Now, honestly, when it comes to all of these teams, just bringing a friend Bullet helps out so much. He is the king of the strength Garps challenges. So if you can find a friend Bullet, I would definitely bring him for pretty much all of the teams that you guys have seen here today. And honestly, for Dofi 1, Revolutionary Army 1, he helps out a bunch. So on turn 1, we're going to get our cooldowns, and then we can move into the second turn against the Watermelon Head guy. He's going to give us 3 turns of attack down. So we are going to remove that with our Dogstorm special. Dogstorm can remove the 3 turns of attack down and give us a full board of orbs on the right hand side. So you can attack with your right hand side units. That way you can sort of just maximize the amount of orbs that you guys do have on this particular turn. You do want to attack with Bullet last, as Bullet has super effective against all types, and he can do a significant amount of damage. Now, if you don't kill this guy with the watermelon head, he is going to roll our specials back by, I think, something like 5 turns. But it's really not that big of a deal, as on the next turn we are going to get special blinded anyway. So we can't use our specials for the next 3 turns, so we're going to be building that up regardless. On the next turn, when we do get... special blind kicks in there. This team's not going to work. You know what? It may still work. I totally forgot about that Raizo doing special blind as well. I actually totally forgot that this whole content does special blind at all. So that Raizo support is actually not going to come in clutch as much as I thought it would. But we still do have Chopper on this particular team to actually remove paralysis anyway. Man, we're getting very lucky with these meat orbs. We still do have Chopper to remove paralysis anyway, so I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. On the next turn, we come up against Speed, Guru, Isu, and Fossa. Now, lucky for me, I did get the 4-turn cooldown on Fossa, but hopefully you guys did as well. So, ideally, you just want to make sure that you kill Speed Guru on this very first turn. So, attack with all of your units, and make sure you do hit with your Bullet last, as Bullet can just do a heap of damage, being super effective against all types. That's the big reason why Bullet is so good for these challenges. Because he is super effective against all types, he just makes the quick units that you do come up against absolute fodder, and you don't really have to worry about taking too much damage from them, as well as giving you natural orbs as well. So what we can do on this particular stage against Fossa, we can sort of just whittle him down with normal attacks, and then we can move on to the next stage against Jozu. So on to the next stage against Jozu, he puts up 3 turns of defense up and damage reduction. Look at all these quick orbs, by the way. These would all be unfavorable, but with Bullet, it just doesn't matter. So because he makes, he puts up the defensive effects, we can use the special of Montador here to give us a color affinity boost and remove them. If you need to, you can use your Dogstorm special once again to give yourself some more matching orbs. But as you can see, we are absolutely hunky-dory. What we're going to do on this particular stage, once again, like we did with the Sweet Generals team, is we're actually going to use our Bullet special, and that way we can just get a heap of damage. That way we can rely on his end of turn damage with that color affinity buff to actually take out Jozu easy peasy. Moving into the next stage now, we come up against Vista and Marco. They're going to give us 3 turns of paralysis, attack down, and chain lock. Now, normally, I would be relying on the Raizo as well as the support of the Straw Hats, but because of the whole Raizo thing, it kind of cucked me a little bit. But as you can see, we actually got our Dogstorm special back, so you can actually use the Dogstorm special to remove the paralysis and the attack down, and then you can actually use Marco to remove the... oh, he actually removes chain coefficient. I thought he removed chain lock as well. Well, Marco's completely replaceable in this team, apparently. Cool. Well, that's something to note. He does give damage reduction, which is going to help us out significantly right there, as normally we would take a heap of damage from that particular stage. But I guess you could also, like, honestly replace him with, like, another attack booster or something like that. Just someone that's going to provide a little bit more to the team, as Dogstorm's cooldown is quite low, and you can actually get that... you can actually get that special back to remove the paralysis and the attack down, which is actually really handy. So moving into the final stage now against Ace and WhiteBeard, we're basically just going to pop our Chopper special, as Chopper can give us an attack boost, so bring this Chopper as actually fairly handy. And then we can use the special of our Oden to give us an orb buff. Now, I did manage to hang on to the super typing of... Oden. Unfortunately, that color affinity doesn't matter, as we do lose that color affinity, so I'm going to use the super typing as well for Oden. That's just going to guarantee me a 1-0 orb and a lot of damage on my Oden. So once we've popped all of our specials there, we can focus on taking out Ace, and then hopefully we do have the damage to actually take out WhiteBeard as well. We should with our Oden, easy peasy. So as I mentioned, you can replace Marco on this particular team. That Dogstorm being at max cooldowns can actually pop off twice, which is great. So the final team of the video is the double Snake Man team. Snake Man's still arguably the best strength super typing, but if you do partner him out with Bullet, it just does help out significantly. But for the sake of the video, I don't want to include Bullet in every single team, so we are going to bring a double Snake Man team. Now on turn 1, we're just going to use our Zoro special. Zoro is just going to do an absolute, a massive wave clear for us, which is great. And then we can move on to the next stage against the Watermelon Head guy. Against the Watermelon Head guy, we are going to pop, well, we do have the support of Kobe. And then we can actually, what do we want to do here? We want to pop our other Zoro special. Because we get special binded on the next turn, we can't use that Zoro special once again. And we do want to start popping off his specials, as that way he can get up to that 1,000,000 damage. On the next turn, we come up against Higuma. I think his name's Hio or Rio or something like that with the Chain Ball. I'm going to call him Chain Ball guy. And Atmos. Now, on this particular turn, they do special bind all of our units. But don't stress, because if you do need the damage here, you can use one of the super types of Luffy. But I would try and hang on to those if you can. With a good orb roll, you should be able to kill Atmos and Higuma in the front. As well as then just sort of like get any healing you can, as Luffy increases the chance of landing on recovery orbs. On the next turn, we can then take out the Chain Ball guy. And move on to the next stage against Fossa, Isu, and Speed Guru. Are we actually going to kill here? Yeah, we are. Cool. Just one Strength Orb gives so much extra damage with the 5x multiplier that Luffy provides. So on to the next turn now, we come up against Speed Guru, Isu, and Fossa. Fossa can be on that 4-turn cooldown, or it could be on a 3 or a 2. For us, for our sake, thank God, he is on a 3-turn cooldown, which means that we can actually stall on him for a little bit and get our cooldowns back. Now, we do have quite a lot of HP here as well, so if you need to, you could stall, well, you could probably take a shot from Fossa here, but I would highly recommend against it, as like taking a shot later on down the line is way more beneficial. Against Fossa, just farm for some orbs as well. The amount of extra damage you get with Luffy having that strength or recovery orb is actually massive, so you do want to try and stall out for some matching orbs if you can, every single turn. On the next turn, we come up against Jozu. Jozu has defensive effects, defense up, and he has damage reduction. So what we're going to do on this particular turn, we're going to use our Garp special to set the defense to 0 and do a nice chunky 30% HP cut. We can then use our other Luffy special. That's going to give us a full border orbs, and then we can use our Usohachi special to remove the defensive effects and give us some cooldowns. The cooldowns is quite nice, but like I was mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you have someone like Vivi Rebecca is going to be way more beneficial for this particular team, rather than using Usohachi, even though Usohachi does give cooldowns. So moving on to the next turn now, we do come up against Marco and Vista. They're going to give us 3 turns of paralysis, attack down, and chain lock. So what we can do on this particular stage here is we can actually remove the attack down and the paralysis with Boa and our supports. And then we can use one of our super typings of Luffy to give us a 2x attack boost. Now, unfortunately, we can't get rid of that chain lock. If you do have someone like Enel, Enel is actually just like perfect for this particular piece of content, or this particular fight in particular. Like, he actually removes the chain lock as well as the attack down and the paralysis. Boa does lock out orbs, which is quite nice, but if you do have that Eneru, I would highly recommend swapping out Boa for him. We do want to try and stall back for our specials with Luffy on this particular turn, so try and do a bit of damage to Vista. Don't let him take a knee, but do get him down quite significantly low, as we do want to take him out once our Luffy gets down to a 2-turn cooldown. Luffy increases the chance of landing on recovery orbs as well. That is something to note, so make sure you are eating any recovery orbs that do pop up along the way. Once we do hit that 2-turn cooldown with our Luffy, my Luffy is Limit Break keyed. If you don't have a Limit Break key one, bring a friend that is. That's just going to make your life a lot easier. Or in the beginning of the video, as I mentioned, if you just do bring a friend Bullet, he's going to make your life significantly easier. So on the final stage against Marco and WhiteBeard, we're basically just going to use the specials of Luffy and the super typing of Luffy to give us a full board orbs, an orb buff, and an attack boost. And then we can just pop off Zoro for a little bit of extra damage as well. Just be careful how much HP you do come into this stage with, as there is end of turn damage. That is something to note. And if you aren't killing these guys in one turn, you do need to be careful how much HP you have, as that end of turn damage is fairly significant. Beautiful. So there you go. That was the Garp Challenge WhiteBeard Mono Strength teams. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Lates!